You know, I find it fascinating the woke mental illness. You know, I use that word like ironically. It's current American fucking Western morality being imposed. You know, of the academia, people who goes to school get 10, 15, 20,000 dollars in debt, and they believe they understand the rest of the world. They believe they understand every single problem because they filter it through this ideological lens that is one anti-human and two just completely idiotic. Like, and what I'm about to talk to you about is like people are actually putting, because there's this guy named Grooms, right? He worked, on small projects such as like Diablo, World of Warcraft. Like he was part of this tiny indie company called Blizzard in the past, back when they actually made good games. And he exposes things in the gaming industry that most people understood, but it just but for the normies, it had to be said with the microphone, for the people in the back. And now Asmongold, who's a who's a complete normie, but he has about 20-ish thousand people watching, and now he's even exposing these things like with the localizers. He's exposing things with certain AAA companies and monetization. And again, he has, you know, basic bitch takes. But he at least points out, like, if he sees bullshit, he points it out and moves on. But what you have is this streamer putting, like, hits on these people. Like, she put a hit on Asmongold and Grooms. Again, people who are exposing the idiocy in the entertainment industry, right? Exposing the ideological mental illness, you know, that is in the industry. And then this is how completely bonkers, like they put actual fucking hits on these people. And then again, they ideologically believe that they're in the right. They believe that they're doing a moral good. And like in their head and to the people who also ideologically support them. But to most just normal fucking people, it is just plain idiocy. So I'm just gonna let this run.
Listen, I'll up the number, okay? 30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay? You have to do both. All right? Because then it's a win win for me. I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore. So if you think about it,
It's time to
What the
stop.
fuck?
It's time to stop, okay? No more. Where the are your parents?
Now, as McGraw talked about it, he's like, oh, well, I might get in contact with my lawyers because this is kind of fucked up. And it's like, again, this is Twitch, right? According to Twitch, you are held responsible for the actions of your chat and the people in your chat, and there are things you are not allowed to say, and you are not allowed to egg your chat on. But apparently, specific people can get away with it, depending on what ideological stance they have, but other people can't. Like, you have this odd situation where some people can get away with anything, like get away with running people over, but you're stopped with a fucking out tail light. And this is what people are pointing out. And again, I don't believe you are responsible for everyone in your chat, but Twitch does. So according to Twitch, she just I guess she used completely different wording, but she technically broke the Twitch rules of service. But I doubt anything will happen. And do I think this is something credible? I mean, again, we see how, again, people with like social justice warriors, like I'm gonna just say it, and feminists, how they react to say Stellar Blade. You know, people of a certain ideological bent act towards these things. Like again, we see how people act when towards people who played Hogwarts Legacy. Like people again of a specific ideology, right? Went out of their way to bully VTubers, right? And this is the entire reason why I do this on my channel and fight for consumer rights and the people's right to consume the products they want to, people's rights to play the games they want to, is when they fucking bullied Pikami. Like this is the entire reason why I do what I do, and I am not, and I'm glad to do it. Like, god damn it, those 5 people who watched my fucking video, they're objectively better. Like, their lives are better having done so. And again, you only need a couple situations of these, right? You only need a couple situations where, okay, you're bullied for simply playing a game, or you're bullied for not consuming a product, for shitting on a product. Like when people go after people who talk shit about Star Wars and how it went. Like, people will go straight mentally unhinged and go after these people. And I talked about, like, how some Italian fucking community manager was raging against people who liked Stellar Blade and was like, look, bro, and he's like, oh, women, this game is literally killing women. It's like, bro, calm the fuck down. What the hell is wrong with you? Alright, we know that there are mentally unhinged people like that, but again, now they have the ideology and the moral means to be unhinged, and other people that are part of the ideology are just forced to defend them because they believe they're fighting a greater war against a greater foe. And it's like, you know, we can point out the fucking idiots in the room regardless, and still, again, if you legitimately believe Stellar Blade is quote-unquote killing women just because, oh, it's a woman that's dressed in a skimpily cladded outfit. Like, do you not think people who believe that will act irrationally? I mean, again, we know how irrationally people acted when they played the Hogwarts game, right? Like, they went out of their way to bully VTubers. Now, they didn't bully, like, Angry Joe, right? They didn't bully Moist Critical because they don't give a shit. Like, they went specifically after the people who were susceptible to this. And again, this is why I do what the fuck I do, is because people like this, right? People like the person on my screen are just mentally unhinged. And again, and it's towards Asmongold, like a complete fucking normie, who, yeah, he has 20,000 people watching, but again, he points out hypocrisy, he points out bullshit when he sees it. Same thing with Grooms, who's been in the gaming industry and who points this shit out. People go straight schizophrenic and go after these people. And we know this. Like, we've seen the chat logs between these mentally unhinged people and the people they go after. Like, we see these things happen. Now, journalists, they don't talk about it, right? You know, the same people who are all for women's rights and all for people who, against, you know, harassment of women. When people were harassing VTubers, they didn't say a damn thing. None of they pretend, oh, nothing's happening. We don't care. And again, the people who do say something about it, they get targeted. And they get talked about. And it is odd how, again, the idea that, oh, these people are Nazis and blah, blah, blah. And they use these morally charged labels against people that don't really mean anything, or they're racist. It's like, it's surprised how these individuals watch VTubers and they watch anime and they watch these things. Oh, again, it's people who don't consume the current Western trash that's coming out that falls under these classifications. Ah, I see. And then you have games that are good that come out, like Hogwarts Legacy, like Helldivers, like Palworld, like The Coffin of Ashley and Lele, like Stellar Blade. And the market universally likes these games. And these schizophrenic ideologues, they go after the products, these products that the market universally like. You know, why don't they go after Ubisoft for showing the same bullshit? And again, Ubisoft is one of those companies that believe, oh, if you want to, you need to hire an army of consultants, you need to hire an army of fucking psychologists. If you ever want to talk about, say, African folklore, like, you don't hire historians, you don't hire people from Africa who learned about these things. No, you hire someone from an American university who has never went to Africa, but they've studied in a textbook, and these are the type of people you're supposed to hire in your company to talk about these things. Like, this is the type of company Ubisoft is. But then you have Assassin's Creed Shadows, which has an African American samurai and a female shinobi, Kunoichi, I think she is, murdering Japanese people. It's like, and I don't care, right? If the game would have came out like after, say, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, when they actually hired talented people who could actually create, right? They hired historians to actually be historically accurate with their shit. No one would have cared. Like, in fact, people would have liked it. But nowadays, people just don't care. Like, what is this? The sixth fucking Assassin's Creed? And again, you go after this game, and these specific ideologically charged people will come after you. So it's like, well, what's the fucking deal? I mean, I know what the fucking deal is, right? So I'm trying to craft my argument for the normies, right? Because it's one thing to just say what's on your mind, and it's another to craft your arguments in a way that just normal people understand. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, you know? Winning the normies over. And unfortunately, the left has this down to a science. Right, left wingers have this down to a science, but right wingers do not. Like, in fact, if a right winger tries to adhere to the normies and the younger generation, it's like persona non grata for them. And it's like, why not? Right? You know, and they act surprised when people just vote against the right for no other reason than they're assholes. Right? And they continue to lose, and they'll lose again. And but I'm going on a rant back on. And again, it's people like this, right? Like this woman right here. Like, you can just show them this video and give just normal people the context, and anyone, even people who agree with her, would be like, agree with her ideologically, would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck are you doing? But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.